Welcome to the Cala Builders Podcast. This deep dive is for one very specific person, the aspiring restaurateur. You're the one staring down the cost of launching a dream in, let's face it, the incredibly competitive Los Angeles market. Our mission today is really to move beyond that anxiety and get into action. We are dissecting the Restaurant Build-Out Cost in Los Angeles 2026 guide. It's a critical resource if you're planning anything from a full-service spot to a fast casual place. Because turning that vision in your head into a physical, code-compliant reality, especially here in LA, it requires total budget mastery and a plan to avoid all those costly surprises. We're going to unpack the specific cost categories, explore the huge variables that dictate where your project lands on that budget spectrum, and look at the timelines. Before we jump in, a quick note on our source. Cala Builders is a full-service general contractor right here in Los Angeles. They specialize in high-end projects, but also commercial tenant improvements, which includes restaurants. Your expertise covers LA County, Pasadena, the San Fernando Valley, Santa Monica, so this guide has a really focused, practical perspective. Okay, let's unpack this. If a potential owner knows they need, say, $500,000, why is understanding the mechanics of this guide so important beyond just that final number?
That's a great question, because the physical build-out is the absolute foundation of your long-term success. It's not just, a quick paint job.
A cosmetic refresh, yeah.
Exactly. A build-out, or what you'll hear called a tenant improvement, or TI, it's this complex conversion.
Yeah.
You're taking a raw empty space, or maybe a previously used one, and turning it into a fully functional, profitable, and this is crucial, code-compliant facility.
So all the systems.
All the complex systems, the back of house, the kitchens, prep stations, refrigeration, drainage, and then linking all of that seamlessly with the front of house, the dining room, the bar, restrooms.
Mm-hmm.
If you cut corners there, you're going to spend years paying for it in inefficiencies, in repairs.
So the goal isn't just to open the doors. It's building a machine that operates flawlessly and, doesn't get you shut down by a code violation a month after you open.
Precisely. Your cost estimates are the backbone of your business plan. They prevent those last-minute catastrophic surprises. And to ground this for you, the guide gives us some key high-level numbers right up front. We are seeing construction and tenant improvements range, and it's a wide range, from about $50 on the very low end, all the way up to $400 or even more per square foot.
Wow.
And the timeline. From planning to grand opening, you're looking at 6 to 14 months.
That range, 50 to 400 plus, that is a massive spread. We'll get into why in a bit, but what's the immediate financial takeaway from that?
The immediate takeaway is that in LA construction, unexpected expenses always happen.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay.
So you must factor in a robust contingency fund.
Okay.
The guide strongly advises planning for 10 to 20% of the overall budget to be set aside just for those surprises.
And to manage all this, you have to break it down.
Yes. We break the entire project into 6 core categories.
All right, let's start with the big one where the money just seems to evaporate. Tenant improvements and construction. This is the structural stuff, right?
This is the largest, most variable chunk of the budget. It's the structural alterations, walls, ceilings, flooring, and all the essential utilities. HVAC, plumbing, electrical, everything you need for a professional kitchen.
And that $50 to $400 range lives here.
It does. It reflects the scope.
Yeah.
A basic renovation, maybe you're just refreshing a space that was already a restaurant, might be $50 to $100 a square foot. A mid-range build-out, maybe converting a retail space, you're looking at $100 to $200.
Okay.
But a full custom build-out in an old building or a raw warehouse shell, you are easily looking at $200 to $400, sometimes more.
So what pushes a project into that $400 plus territory? What are we talking about structurally?
You're talking about heavy-duty, expensive work, concrete work. Maybe you need to cut the slab and trench it for new plumbing lines to a dish pit. That's extensive.
Right.
Or in older LA buildings, you might have mandated seismic upgrades or remediation for asbestos. That requires serious structural engineering, and it costs a lot.
So once the building itself is safe and compliant, you move to the engine of the whole operation, the kitchen equipment.
Yes, and this is the central investment that defines what you can actually do.
Mm-hmm.
Your menu, your volume. It has to be durable, safe, and sized correctly.
So ranges, ovens.
Ranges, ovens, fryers, all the refrigeration. But the biggest cost driver in LA, surprisingly, is often the ventilation.
The hoods.
The hoods. We're talking high-power ventilation and exhaust systems. Local fire codes are incredibly strict. So the cost of the hood itself, plus the fire suppression system, plus all the ductwork, that can often cost more than all the cooking equipment sitting under it.
Wow, that's a powerful point. So a kitchen budget, what does that look like?
It can range from, say, $50,000 on the low end to $200,000 or more, depending on complexity.
So once that back-of-house engine is set, we shift to the customer experience. Furniture, fixtures, and equipment, FF&E.
Exactly. This is your front of house. It's the tables, chairs, booths, lighting, all the things that create your brand identity. And crucially, your point-of-sale systems, your POS. Right. And you need to balance cost and durability. Cheap chairs break. Custom booth seating or fancy light fixtures can really push this category up. We see budgets from $20,000 to well over $100,000 here.
And now for the part everyone dreads. Permits, compliance, and fees.
It's a complex web in Los Angeles. Health permits, building permits, fire safety inspections, maybe a liquor license.
And it's not fast.
It's not fast and it's not cheap. These fees are unavoidable, and they can easily add tens of thousands of dollars to your budget, not even counting the cost of the delays they can cause.
Which is where your professional team earns their money. Category 5, professional fees. The architects, engineers.
Absolutely vital. Architects, engineers, designers, project managers. Good design and experience management are what guarantee you get through that permit process.
We can't cheap out here.
If you try to save money with an inexperienced designer, you often end up with blueprints the city rejects, and that costs you months of lost time. You should plan for these fees to be about 5 to 15% of your total build cost.
And that last category, the one that decides if you have a smooth launch or a total cash crunch, the contingency fund.
This is the one. I mean, unexpected costs are a part of every single construction project. Doesn't matter how good the plans are.
What kind of things pop up?
You open a wall and find hidden structural issues. Or a permit gets delayed. Or there's a sudden price hike on the imported oven you wanted.
So what's the rule of thumb?
The rule of thumb, and you have to treat this as gospel, is 10 to 20% of your total project budget must be set aside. Without it, one hidden $25,000 plumbing issue can stall your project for months.
Okay, so that massive price swing we talked about, up to $400 or more a square foot. What are the key things that push a project from mid-range up to that full custom price tag?
The variables really define the project's complexity, and it usually comes down to what the space was versus what it needs to be. First, just the condition of the space. A raw, empty shell needs so much more work than a space that was recently a restaurant. You're starting from scratch. And worse, older buildings. They often have hidden problems. Old plumbing, bad wiring, asbestos, all that drives up the cost and the timeline.
So that cheap lease on a cool old storefront might come with a massive hidden construction bill you can't see until you open the walls.
That is the #1 trap for new owners in places like Santa Monica or downtown LA. The second one is utility upgrades.
Ah, the basics.
Right. A commercial kitchen needs huge amounts of power, gas, and water. If the existing service is insufficient, upgrading it can mean digging up the street and dealing with utility company bureaucracy. It's complicated and very expensive.
And of course, the scale of your dream matters. The scale of services.
Exactly. A little takeaway cafe is one thing, but a full-service restaurant with multiple kitchen stations, a pastry area, a big custom bar, that's a whole different ballgame. It requires substantially more complex engineering and construction.
And then there are the aesthetics. The design and finishes must be where the budget can really get away from you.
Oh, absolutely. This is where the front-of-house budget balloons. Choosing custom imported tile over simple ceramic, custom millwork instead of something off the shelf. All those unique elements that require specialized labor, they add up fast. Simple and functional keeps you on the low end. Quality and customization push you toward that $400 a square foot mark.
So to make this real for people listening, what's the bottom line example from the guide?
For a typical 2,000 square foot restaurant, when you factor in all 6 categories, the construction, the equipment, fees, that contingency fund, the total estimated cost to build it out can realistically range from $230,000 all the way up to $760,000 or even more.
Wow. That spread is really sobering.
It shows why early, accurate planning with professional guidance is just non-negotiable in this market.
So, what does this all mean for you listening? When you're faced with a potential investment that's pushing $750,000, how do you manage it efficiently without, sacrificing the quality that actually brings people back? The guide offers 5 really strategic ways to manage costs. The first one sounds obvious, but it's critical. Plan early and thoroughly. Incomplete plans are the absolute enemy of budget control.
Every single change order mid-project is an expensive delay.
Which leads right into the second point. Work with experienced professionals. A skilled general contractor who knows restaurants, specifically someone who uses a design-build model, can be your greatest asset.
The design-build model is a huge advantage here. It integrates the design, the engineering, and the construction teams all under one roof.
So everyone's on the same page.
Everyone is on the same page from day one. It streamlines communication. It leads to faster timelines because they anticipate challenges earlier, and you get much better budget control.
Third, and this is so important, optimize your kitchen layout. This gets overlooked when people get excited about the dining room, but workflow efficiency saves you money every single day you're open.
It's true. If your cooks are taking 10 extra steps per order because of a bad layout, that's labor dollars you're wasting forever.
Fourth, be smart about your gear. Shop for cost-effective equipment.
You really have to match the equipment to your menu. Don't overspend on features you don't need. And think about leasing or buying certified used gear. It can save a huge chunk of that initial budget, especially since so much money is already going into the ventilation.
And the final piece of advice, especially if that initial budget is tight, consider phased build-outs.
This is a really smart strategy. It just means you prioritize the critical systems first. You focus on the kitchen, the plumbing, the electrical, everything you need to get your health permits and open the doors.
And the fancy stuff can wait.
The fancy stuff can wait. The expensive dining room finishes, the custom millwork, that can be deferred until the business is actually generating revenue. It's a great way to de-risk the launch.
We also have to talk about those timelines. Waiting 14 months for cash to start flowing can crush a business. The guide breaks down where all that time goes.
It does, and that long window is all about building in buffer time. Generally, your planning and design phase takes 1 to 3 months.
Then the permits.
Then permits. In LA, that can be brutal. You should budget 1 to 3 months, but be prepared for longer. The actual construction and installation phase is about 3 to 6 months, and then you have another 1 to 2 months for final inspections, staff training, and all the prep for the grand opening.
That permit timeline really jumps out. A minor revision request from the city can push your opening back by weeks, and you're just bleeding money on rent while you wait.
And if we tie all this together, a successful launch really hinges on 3 things. Careful, detailed planning. Using experienced professionals who actually understand LA's codes. And, critically, having that 10 to 20% contingency fund ready to go.
A well-executed build-out really sets the stage for everything that comes after. Successful operations, happy customers. It's the foundation of the whole business.
And this raises a really important final question for anyone thinking about this. If the main goal of the build-out is to create a space that supports long-term success,
right,
we have to ask, while high-end design definitely adds upfront cost, what is the true cost of cutting corners on your kitchen infrastructure or on those professional design fees? Could saving 5% right now end up costing you 20% in lost efficiency and expensive repairs 3 years from now? In the end, thoughtful design and real attention to quality, that's what supports success in a market like LA in ways a cheap initial build just never can.